like if you commit treason against your country by stealing from the treasury, you should be able to be prosecuted and go to jail. Hold the person accountable some sort of way, not just tell them, okay, sign a paper and tell me you resign.
We can't give these people all this power and then not hold anybody accountable. Then, I mean, they're in charge of themselves. You know, when you give anyone too much power, you know what happens, right?
What I believe is that with the responsibility now, it would be that in Parliament, the way they conduct themselves, the views they represent should be those of the people.
Personally, I believe more clarification should be given in the public eyes. Not every citizen will understand the parliamentary language then. They want things at their level.
How do we go beyond just looking at the reports? There needs to be more of a response. Having legislative oversight which reviews audit reports or investigative reports or performance assessments, it needs to go beyond to say, well, did something happen as a result of us looking at that report? So this is the key. Is there follow-up?
A Public Accounts Committee and an Auditor General and any other system that you have for oversight can only work if you have the political will and the commitment to transparency.
Transparent promotes accountability because you could have the most perfect system, it could be so well executed, lovely budget, but if nobody knows about it, then nobody's accountable for did it deliver what it was intended to do.
Transparency is crucial. The public demand that committees need to be not just open and televised, but committees themselves need to be transparent in terms of the way that they've done business. I like the practice that's taken place in some parliaments where they produce legacy reports at the end of a parliament. The committee should look back and see, well, what have we actually achieved as a committee, and they should report to that. They should report to the people in terms of, we as your representatives, we have done this over the last 4 or 5 years, we've achieved this, these are the issues we've uncovered. This is a problem, a cross-cutting issue that keeps cropping up. And it's not just important in terms of transparency to the public, it's also important for any successor committee that starts up, that they can actually look back so there's greater coordination between different parliaments.
And secondly, it needs to be timely. Quite often we see the reports being less than timely. That reduces accountability. It certainly does not promote good governance and effective management.
We must find a way to involve the average man. And I believe one of the ways to do that is to engage our young people. And maybe in the pre-budget preparation, we throw these things out and have them as young people to debate it. But part of it is, how do we simplify that so the average man can understand? Because you have all these highfalutin terminologies and figures and people can't relate to it. You have to now break it down in simple terms, how it affects their day-to-day lives.
And then, if you want to strengthen parliamentary oversight, one aspect I want to bring, this is political a little bit, the confrontational politics is not serving the interest of the people. So when a party wins the election, it is the responsibility of the winning party how to bring forward the other oppositions together, work as a team.
Some of the challenges that government has is with the people. So when the people are more involved, then I believe that they can be a part of the solution. I mean, in Jamaica now we're talking about growth. It's not just, when we speak about growth in an economy, it can't be just the big businesses doing well or doing better. It is also about the small businesses. It is where that little man, that little woman see themselves as part of that growth.
First of all, I think it would be important that, of course, when the agenda of the committees are made public and available on the website, that also civil society at regular intervals is invited to contribute. I know that in a number of countries, each committee, they have a roster of civil society experts, stakeholders, relevant persons which can be called upon. called upon to testify in front of the committee on a specific issue, but also to be as a source of expertise.
And so it is, whatever we're doing in terms of public expenditure, saving money, spending more wisely, the people must feel that it is their business, because in fact, it is their money that the government is spending.
I think it's completely unrealistic for people to be intensively following, for all people to be intensively following what is happening and all the time, and in a sense to be governing the country from their kitchens. That's not what's required. What's required is some thought about who they're going to vote for, the quality of their representative, and to take notice when things are beginning to go badly wrong, to be sensitive and objective when they read that something is not right.
Citizens try to see what is the substance of whole deliberations. Unless it is very substantive, they will not be interested. I always advise the Auditor General, it is good that you are submitting thousands of pages audit report to the Parliament, but give me 50 pages. 10 major cases, those should be discussed under camera, and decisions will be taken, and decisions will be implemented immediately, and people will know who are the people penalized for misusing 5 million, 10 million or 5 million. My feeling is that going forward, as Trinidad is one of the leader of the economic development in the Caribbean, I think as a government, both and also the opposition should look at what are the good practices around the world. You look at what you are doing, then you look around what are the good practices. Can you adapt it, learn from them, and develop the society? And that is leadership.
We'd advise them to go through the standing orders as well as the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago, right, as their new coming MPs. I believe that will do them very well.
I would say represent the persons who elected you, because I had the opportunity to vote this year.
The best advice I could give them would be to make sure and learn the rules, the regulations, make sure they know how to scrutinize properly without offending anyone.
Do not just take it for granted and make it into make things into big scandals, and just work for your country. Your country put you there for a reason, so work for them.
When new members come into Parliament, they usually feel overawed and underpowered. For assistance and guidance on the job, they go first to the procedural staff of Parliament, and the relationship between members and the staff is a very close one. The staff run the organisation, and members are always open to discussions with staff. They come to staff for advice. Staff are very open to giving that advice, and that is a big source. But at the same time, they've got their designated party whip, and that party whip will guide them in the way of putting down questions, the best way of getting answers out of the government, and the way to conduct themselves, what a closure motion is, and all the rest of it. So they do have these two.
In terms of new MPs, I think in a way I don't have to give them advice, because most of them, when they come in, instinctively realise that actually select committee work is really interesting, that it's much more interesting quite often than sitting in the main chamber where everybody's just playing the Punch and Judy sort of politics.
The key thing is to be involved with as many committees as possible, because as a backbencher who's not in the executive but on the legislative side, it certainly gives you an opportunity to understand governance and how it functions. My advice would be to not only to get involved but to do a lot of preparation.
They need to firstly learn the rules. They need to learn and understand the standing orders. If they don't understand the standing orders, they should have the confidence to consult with the clerks and to get them explained. Because what you often see is in Parliament, there's members saying, oh, they can't do this, or they can't do that. Well, in actual fact that they can, they just don't know how to do it. And so it's very important, very much the stage when their first weeks in Parliament, that they have a proper induction programme. They spend time with the clerks and they go through the rules and the expectations of being a parliamentarian. And as part of that process as well, I think they need to be told of the importance of scrutiny, the importance of committee work.
So you get people from all walks of life coming into the legislatures. Teachers, doctors, social workers, people who don't necessarily have expertise in financial scrutiny. Understandably, not everybody in life is an accountant, right? So it's very important to be able to provide some training to members of Parliament and members of legislative assemblies regarding issues like how do you scrutinize the budget, how do you look at a financial statement and understand it. When the budget is introduced in the legislature, how do you ask questions about the budget? When you have the minister or the deputy minister of a particular department there, what documents should you be using to get ready for that hearing? All those kinds of questions are very, very important. Similarly, after the budget has been expended and you've got the Auditor General's report that's come out, right? And you've got the deputy minister of a particular department. What kind of questions should you be asking the deputy minister? How do you hold the government to account?
My advice to anybody coming in is try and keep the politics out of it, try and keep it issue-based, and actually you'll enjoy it more as a member, but you'll be way more effective in terms of the service that you provide to your citizens and actually to government, because sometimes governments do need to be told what isn't working, even if they don't want to hear it.